look at the volume of the research. And you also look at the consensus. Ano ba yung sinasabi ng mga research?
Clear evidence na siya pero skeptical pa siya hanggang kailan lang effective yung papel o yung results.
Yep. So doon yung papasok yung paano yung lumalabas sa studies. Paano yung magiging practical
application.
Tataya ko yung fully tenured position ko dito sa kolehiyo. If you're a normal healthy individual tapos nag-start ka mag-exercise tapos pumangit yung health mo, kahit gaano kaganda ka, pangit yung genes mo. And when you started, guaranteed mag-improve yan.
Mag-improve talaga siya.
Kung gusto mo sumakit lang yung katawan mo, di ba? Suntok ka Manny Pacquiao, di ba? Gawin kang punching bag, sumakit yung katawan mo.
So, hey, what's up mga ka-legit? And I'm Coach Ja again and welcome sa Keep It Legit with Ja podcast. So, very esteemed yung kasama ko ngayon na guest. Okay ba? Kahit di ko pa tayo introduce, alam nyo na. Esteemed siya, May. So, kahit di ko pa siya introduce, mukhang namumukhaan niyo siya. Mas mahaba nga lang yung buhok yung time na yun. So, ang guest natin today is, actually, yung first encounter ko kay Sir Wisdom is, I met him in a conference sa Bangkok na nag-present ako ng research paper. Tapos, eventually, nag-masters ako, naging teacher ko siya. Tapos, naging research assistant niya ako dun sa isang whey protein testing na ginawa namin last year. And eventually, naging panel member ko siya sa thesis. So, without further ado, si Sir Wisdom Balya, sir. Ayan, sir, baka may gusto ka pang way kung paano gusto magpakilala. Kasi meron akong alam na way kung paano ko nagpapakilala eh.
Anong whey? Whey protein?
Whey protein. Yung coach, sir, yung tawag mo sa sarili mo, I'm just a glorified gym bro.
Oo nga pala. So, hello, Wisdom Balya, sir. Yung most overrated glorified gym bro ng Pilipinas. Faculty ng Sports Science dito sa UP College of Human Kinetics. I'm the current chairman of the Department of Sports Science and also the chairman of the Research Ethics Committee. And in my spare time, I like to work out and eat liempo.
Yeah, kasama yung tatanong ko sa'yo, sir, kasi mukhang mga ka-batchmates mo rin nakaintindi tsaka yung mga talagang first-hand student mo yung nakaintindi yung liempo context na yan, sir. Pero sir, from a follower, merong akong gusto itanong sa'yo kasi yung isa nagtanong sa akin, sabi niya, si Sir Wisdom po ba ay nagtitrain ng clients? Nagtitrain ka ba, sir?
Hindi na. So, ang tagal na. No? Tinatrain ko na lang ngayon yung asawa ko.
Si Ma'am
yeah, I have a full-time teaching job. I administrative din ako ng work. So, hindi na kaya sa oras. So, I'd rather have my time outside of those as free time ko na. Workout, to chill sa bahay. So, yeah.
So, yung, sir, talaga tumanggap ka dati? Kasi ako, sir, nung time na may pinost ka yata na content nun, tas may nag-PM sa'yo kung nagko-coach ka. Sinabi mo nga nung time na yun na yung mga student mo na lang yung kausapin nila. Yeah. Pero sir, nag-train ka, natry mo talaga mag-train?
Natry ko dati, so long ago, hanggang sa dumagdag yung mga trabaho ko sa college. Hindi ko na siya magagawa. Pero dati, siyempre, before pa ako mag-turo, before ako graduate, ano din ako, trainer sa mga gym, yung mga tipong ano pa nun. Isweldo ko nun, 4,100 sa isang buwan. So, nare-reveal ganun siya ka-lucrative, no? Pero ano to early 2000s, yung pinakauna ko. Tapos later on, hanggang sa nag-full-time faculty na ako, eventually mababawasan. Kasi maganda yung profession na yan. As, kung may side gig kayo, maganda siya kasi puhunan mo lang naman doon. It's your expertise and your how you deal with clients. Wala ka namang ilalabas masyado, oras mo lang. Then you get paid for your guidance. Pero nakakapagod siya.
Yeah.
Especially pag mga home service or you have to really go to the gym ng client. So, yun yung oras. Maganda siya na gig.
Parang side hustle siya, sir, no? Tsaka siguro, sir, yung mga early 2000s na yun, tsaka mga 2010s, parang di pang using online coaching nun. So, talagang pupuntahan mo yung mga kliyente para i-train sila.
Dati. So, ano pa yun dati? Wala pang Zoom nga doon dati. Skype pa. Tapos, yung mga internet, di pa ganun kabilis. Eventually doon, yung mga online coaching dati, ano lang, programs lang. Pili ka ng program, so on. Pero yung mga live coaching, Hindi ko na nabutan yung time na yung live coaching became a real thing na feasible siya given the technology. I think nag-boom lang naman din yan sa pandemic. Before the pandemic, hindi rin masyado.
Totoo. Parang dial up na pa nga dati yung mga internets na hindi tulad ngayon na wireless yung mga connections ngayon.
Yes.
Tapos sir ako, ito personal question ko. The sports you engage in before, like may main sport ka ba? Varsity ka ba dati?
Yes. Filipino eh. So syempre lumaki ako
Basketball.
So I'm proud to say varsity ako ng basketball from grade 4 hanggang high school. Pero nung college, ibang usapan na. Kasi college ko, UP. Akala mo, magaling ka sa probinsya eh. Pagdating mo sa UP, parang
mo ng kalaban.
Kahit nga yung bench player ng Team D, di ka pala uubra. So, basketball. Then sa college, I got into mostly combat sports. So, I was one of the last members ng UP wrestling team, which is freestyle wrestling and Greco-Roman. Sumali din ng judo club. And also kami yung first members ng Sprawl Mixed Martial Arts. Sprawl MMA. Nasa Cubao dati. So, shout out kay Coach Carlo.
Coach Carlo.
And then yun, so siguro if you search my name, lalabas pa yung 2005 yata na
nasa lineup eh.
Jiu-Jitsu na tournament. So, ganun katagal. And then, so combat sports in college. And then, after that one, nung nagkaroon ng mga 6-month na hiatus from combat sports, suddenly, wala akong injuries. Wala akong injuries sa fingers, sa wrist. Wala akong mga friction burns, walang pasa. Uy, sarap pala ng buhay na walang injuries. So, then, puro na ako. Since then, puro weights na lang.
Gym na lang.
Weights na lang. Wala na. Kasi, sabi ko nga, sa field namin, sports science, diba? But if you want to live the longest, healthiest life, don't do sports. Just lift weights, do cardiovascular exercise. That will give you the longest, healthiest life possible. Assuming walang mangyayari sa'yo na accident or mga illness na hindi mo mape-prevent. So yun, but mainly basketball. So just like most kids growing up, hopefully, I was hoping na someday makipaglaro sa PBA. Pero, kumbaga, hindi lang ako ganun katangkad. Tsaka, medyo wala akong shooting. Medyo mabagal din ako. Kaya hindi rin ako malakas tumalon. Pero magaling ako maglaro dati. Tapos wala din ako dribbling. Passing.
Wala na lahat. Wala na lahat. Na-reveal ba't di naging varsity ng UP?
Bro, kaya lang hindi. Sayang hindi ako ng varsity.
Actually sir, same din ako kasi basketball talaga ako dati nun. Para masasabi ko na mas decorated ako nung high school basketball dahil alam ko nag-try pa nga ako dito. Na-experience ko mag-try out dito ng RPU team basketball sa UP, yung lumang gym pa. Tapos napabalik pa ng pangalawang beses. Then after nun, sabi ko grabe, sobrang daming magagaling. Kaya basketball din yung nauna. Pero ako sir, personally, akala ko ever since nung college guys, combative ka na talaga. Kasi meron pa ako isang nakitang research paper mo, yung common injuries.
Yeah, that was my first research na official research. So, combat sports, mixed martial arts. Na injury profile.
Filipinos
sa undergraduate thesis ko.
Yun yung unang paper ni Sir Wisdom. So yung mga
2008.
Master's yan, sir.
Undergrad.
So undergrad thesis ni Sir. Ayun, sir. Eto, sir. Babalik ako, tinanong ko siya kanina bago magsimula yung video. So totoo ba talaga na source of protein mo ay lempo?
One of my sources. Kasi lemper, diba? Sino namang ayaw ng lemper? Fat. Tapos, lalo na pag maganda yung timpla, diba? Fat, salt. Diba? Especially pag malutong, juicy.
Ayun.
So, it's one of my sources. Pero hindi naman siya everyday or every meal. And, syempre, as time went on, medyo pinabawasan ko na siya. No? Pag bumibili ka, kunyari, isang brand na hindi ko sasabihin. Pero siya, green and white. Na malasa. Usually, pinipili ko yung hindi masyadong makapal yung taba. No? And moderation lang. Pero one of my main sources, siguro, this is pa. Yung tatay ko kasi, Bulanon Bohol. So, taga Bohol daw. Mahilig sa pork.
Pork,
So, it runs in my blood yung Lempo.
Kasi yung mga kasama ko rin ngayon sa apartment ko, sir, yung mga taga-Bohol, mahilig talaga sila sa pork. Ang dami nila po tayo na puro pork. Kasi sir, kaya ako rin natanong, nasama dito dahil kapag kunyari may mga clients ako or may ibang tao na sasabi na, bawal yung liempo, sisig, mga ganyan. Tapos isa kasi minsan napapakita ko, ito nga prop ko, liempo yung paborito, tapos ito yung physique niya. Later, papakita ko sa inyo.
Pero kailangan syempre, di ba, yung lempo has protein and fat. So if you monitor your nutrition, di ba meron naman yung everyday na needs of protein, carbs, fat. If you eat too much of the lempo, kakain siya dun sa calorie allowance mo for let's say for carbs or for protein in general. So papasok siya dapat dun sa healthy balance. Healthy balance.
Tsaka yung varied pa rin lang yung sinasabi ng mga nutritious na hindi iisa lang yung pinagkukuhaan. So yun, guys, natanong, very tricky kasi sa mga nakakilala kay Sir Wisdom na talaga bang liempo kasi may bad light yung liempo pagdating sa pag-include ng diet. So yun, pinaliwalag na ni Sir Wisdom. Ngayon, sir, na nasa academe ka as a sports scientist, ano yung pinaka-main sports na sinusubaybayan mo talaga tsaka yung maybe natatap ka to analyze or to give some insights or what?
Main sports that
or main pinapanood?
Fan ako ng mga local basketball. Kahit yung NPBL, PBA. Alam ko medyo mababa yung ng PBA. I think minsan pa nga nag-abot tayo sa isang game ng diba?
Nasa ako nun. San Miguel Beerman kasi gumagawa ng research sa kanila.
Still watch it. Especially since meron marami kaming players na nasa PBA. And then MPBL, kasi marami din tayong mga nakilala doon na napanood natin sa college dati or sa NCAA na nandoon na. Mga stars ng mga liga sa probinsya. So yan, so basketball. Minsan, NBA, but mostly basketball, local leagues. Tapos, tapos, mixed martial arts, UFC, sports. Every now and then, pag Olympics, basta may Pinoy, basketball. Mostly local basketball, bodybuilding, professional bodybuilding, manonood ng mga freak show.
So basketball, basta ba yung Pinoy, papanoorin? Sige, sir. Tapos, ito sir, kasi diba, nasabi niyo nga dati na parang, you're just a regular gym bro before. Tapos, looking into this time, nasa research side ka nung industry. Sir, paano na-develop yung interest nyo or inclination nyo sa research?
Well, first of all, kailangan ko. Kasi nasa academe ako.
Sa bagay.
So, para graduate ng master's, diba? Alam mo naman, kailangan ko mag-thesis eh. And then sa academe, for us to earn tenure, kailangan mo mag-publish sa international journal. So, I had to publish as well. And then, kilala naman ng isa. So, I think, ako yata yung pinakamabilis na nakapag-publish after graduating. Within 8 months, na-publish ka na eh. Kasi you are given 3 years. Ayaw kong maghabol eh. So, nanapos ka. And then, siguro sunod-sunod na lang. Ang maganda kasi sa research is, as you get into it, may mga makaka-collaborate ka. May mga mag-i-invite sa'yo, collaborate. You get included in certain research projects na makakaambag ka. Then, so padami. For example, makikita mo si Brad Schoenfeld.
Ang dami.
Hundreds na, no? Hindi naman yan lahat yan nag-collect ng data. But because of his unique perspective, no? Tapos yung experience niya, he gets invited to be a collaborator sa mga research. So, sana dumami na rin eventually. And interesting din kasi if you do your own research eh. Kasi tingnan natin, may effect ba talaga? Or may kinalaman ba talaga ito sa ganito? You do your own research. You see.
Yan din yung sinabi sa akin ni Coach Joke na parang may gusto kang chismis na patunayan. Tapos aalamin mo kung ano yung mga perspectives or mga existing facts bakit nag-come up o nabuo yung ganun chismis. Tapos i-confirm mo na lang. So basically, sila Coach Joke, dun sa isang episode natin, ma-encounter nyo siya. Tsaka Sir Wisdom, magkaklase ba kayo nun, sir? O batchmates?
Batchmates kami. So, si Coach Jock, galing yan. Pag ka-groupmate ko yan, siya yung nagdadala.
Coach, ikaw pala yan.
Pag maghahawak ng Manila paper.
Manila paper. Sino tagaluto ng Pansit Canton, sir? Wala. So, yun. Yun din yung sa akin, yung build-up ko rin, sir, nung research. Kasi nung college nung sa PUP nun, hindi rin ganun ka-strong at saka like enforce yung research. Kaya parang it's for compliance lang.
Yeah.
So na-develop ko lang yung inclination ko sa research nung nag-masters. Tapos na-encounter ko na yun si Coach Jock bilang boss ko. Ganun ginagawa. So nagkaroon na ng interest hanggang sa na-expose na sa masters. So ano naman pinaka-challenging sa paggawa ng research in terms of, for example, yung sa fitness. Kasi alam mo naman dyan, sir, di ba, like, dun sa whey protein testing natin, napaka-formal, yung standards kung paano mo i-disclose yung research, pero parang hindi siya natanggap sa kung ano yung in-expect natin paano siya tanggap.
Yeah, so isa sa pinaka-challenging dyan is syempre accounting for certain variables. Sabi kung magte-test ka ng effect ng weight training, isang group of individuals, how do you account for their differences in their lifestyle? Differences sa sleeping patterns nila.
Yeah.
Differences sa nutritional preferences. Yung motivation nila. So, kaya ang hirap mag-generalize sa research even if you have very concrete results. Because there are a lot of things that come into play para dumating sa result. So, yun, pag yung accounting for all the variables that may affect your findings. No? And when you get into research, kailangan lang, open mind ka lang. Let's say, wala akong pakialam kung ano yung magiging result. May tanong ako, gusto ko malaman lang, ano ba yung sagot based on the limitations of sa individuals ko, sa participants ko, or sa research design. It's all just a piece of the puzzle. So, walang research na lumabas, ito na yung bagong truth. Hindi, yun yung kadalasan ng mali ng iba ng mga science-based daw. Ito yung bagong study. Ibig sabihin, ito pala yung totoo na ngayon. Hindi eh. So if you look at, let's say, epidemiological research, it's all a piece of a puzzle. Na itong research nga ito, this applies to this certain scenario.
Doon lang sa scenario na yun.
So, kunyari, sa exercise, age group, gender, type of training, ethnicity. So, lahat yan magko-contribute sa malaking puzzle. So, ibig sabihin, hindi talaga siya matatapos. But ang kailangan natin tandaan sa research is walang isang research na magiging truth that trumps over everything. Kasi ang kailangan nyo rin tingnan sa research is, ano ba yung number one, yung volume. Gaano ba kadaming research na meron na? Say for example, if we look at creatine monohydrate, ang dami ng research sa creatine monohydrate. No, as opposed to, for example, sabihin natin, SARMs, or let's say, BCAAs. Marami naman. But let's say, may bagong supplement. Look at the volume of the research, and you also look at the consensus. Ano ba yung sinasabi ng mga research? So for example, kung meron kang 100 research on creatine, may 90, ito yung sinasabi. 10, ganito yung
iba yung sinasabi.
It's very common. Never ka makakakita ng, especially sa applied research sa exercise, na 100, ito lang yung sinasabi lahat.
Iba-iba.
So you look at the consensus, volume and consensus. Pag walang ni isa niyan, it's just a good clue to point us in the different directions na pwede pupuntahan. So if you cite one research, hindi enough yan. Kaya maganda yung mga meta-analysis. Diba? Kasi kunyari, gumawa ako ng isang research. Ito yung lumabas na result. Hindi ko pwede sabihin, ito na yung, ito pala yung totoo. Kailangan mo pala gumawa ng 26 sets, no, sa biceps. 4 times a week to get significant growth.
Mga ganun.
Kasi, what if gumawa ako ng isang study? Tapos may 9 studies na sumunod. Yung 9 studies naman, iba yung sinasabi. Sino malamang yung tama? Malamang yung sinasabing na 9 is the most likely truth in a way. So, kailangan natin yung volume and then the consensus. Kaya walang consensus masyado. Kunyari, yung volume and consensus ng creatine monohydrate. Malinaw.
Tsaka ang dami ng studies na na-cover ng mga meta-analysis about it. So, dumating na nga sa sir, di ba? Pampatalino, sa mental health, di ba? Natapos na sila sa muscle.
Benefits na. Hindi na muscle eh. Brain na. Mamaya na. Kaluluwa na. It cleanses your thoughts, di ba?
Baka umabot pa sa ganun eh. No? Kasi sir, yung time na nagko-content creation na tapos I don't really like convict myself as talagang pure science-based kasi minsan gusto ko yung layman's term pa rin. Pero pag kunyaring nagsasite ako ng specific sources para lang may basis, maraming reaction nagsasabi kasi na, ano na ba talaga yung totoo, nalilito na ako. So parang nagpapaliwanag ako na kung ikaw yung kamukha mo yung participants dito sa study na to, ito yung sundan mo. Kung hindi, kailangan mo pa tumingin iba pang papel na pasok ka sa criteria ng study, katulad mo yung mga participants na yun. Kaya doon ko rin natanong, sir, na paano ba iti-take ng mga tao yung mga lumalabas na research ngayon?
Kaya kailangan din kasi natin ng mga tao na magkakascade ng information na based on the studies. Okay, no? Anong practical application ito? Kasi mahirap yung studies lang eh. Yun yung isang problem na dati namin sa academe. No? Talk about effect size, we talk about post-hoc analysis. No, we talk about mga parametric assumptions and so on. Ano ba yung effect size nito? Standard deviation. Most people who exercise, gusto lang nilang malaman, paano ko ba magagamit ito? So there was a very big disconnect between the people doing the research and the people who want to apply it in the practical setting. Ngayon dumadami na because of the social media. So if you look at si Dr. Mike, si
Lane Norton,
Lane Norton,
Jeremy Ether,
Menno Henselmans, Jeff Nippard, na they give us practical recommendations based on the best available evidence. Recommendations siya. Kasi we only work with the best available evidence. So, hindi yung magiging applicable sa ating lahat. But, based on what we know, ito yung baka makakatulong. So, for example, kasi magbibigay ng si Menno Henselmans ng tips. Okay. Consider niya yung study, yung personal na experience niya, yung experience ng clients niya, yung preferences ng clients, okay, yung experiences din ng mga trainers, kung paano ba ito ma-implement. And then certain limitations, available equipment, schedule, and so on. So never ka magkakaroon ng blanket recommendation. But since kailangan natin ng recommendations, ano ba talaga, then we give our best
the best evidence.
Hindi naman natin pwedeng sabihin eh. Kasi hindi naman natin pwedeng sabihin na di pa natin alam for sure. So antayin natin yung next study. So ano yan, for 10 years, hindi ka
mag-exercise
kasi wala pa yung research, diba? Tignan mo yung research on training volume. If you go as high as more than 40 sets per week, incrementally, tumataas pa rin yung hypertrophy. Hindi natin alam ano yung limit. So, pag tinanong ka ano yung limit, hindi ko alam, antayin natin. So, hindi muna tayo mag-weights.
But for now, ito muna.
So, we gave our best advice based on the best available evidence and feedback ng evidence-based community.
Yun na-appreciate ko rin kay Dr. Brad, sir. Diba pag napapansinin natin, lagi, may clear evidence na siya pero skeptical pa siya hanggang kailan lang effective yung papel o yung results.
Yep.
Like for example, nung una ko nabasa sa kanya, resting time, it's like 2016 paper pa. Sabi niya, baka for now, hanggang ganito lang effective. Umabot nga ata ng 3 minutes yung may gains eh. Tapos ngayon, sir, di ba, may na-post kayo last time.
30 to 90 seconds. It's
diba?
Mostly, up to 60 to 90 seconds.
60 to 90 seconds, okay na.
So, that's a blanket recommendation that may work for most individuals. Kausap ko rin si Brad Schoenfeld for more than 2 hours sa backstage. Ako yung nakatulog.
Sa strength con.
Very, very tipid yung nasagot niya. Since as the primary researcher, alam niya din yung mga limitations. So, hindi siya mahirapan kang pumiga ng sagot sa kanya na ano ba talaga. Kasi, based on what we know, it's apparently gentle. It might help. It seems that ganun yung mga sagot. For example, meron ng studies tayo on rest intervals. Na-debunk niya yung rest intervals ba for hypertrophy. 30, ano nga ba yung hypertrophy dati?
30 seconds?
30 to 90, for 90 seconds.
90 seconds,
Di na totoo, no? Because if you rest too short, it may affect your recovery between sets. Mas mababa yung ano mo. We see 2 minutes rest is better than 1 minute in terms of training volume. 3 minutes is better than 2. 5 minutes is better than 3 minutes. In other words, if you rested for 5 minutes in between sets, mas marami kang magagawa. Set na reps.
So mahaba yung pahinga.
Ito pa, if you rest for 8 minutes, may studies, mas marami kang magagawa na reps for if you rested for 8 minutes per set as opposed to 3 minutes. Okay?
So
ang practical application, does it mean we rest for 8 minutes? Hindi. Bakit? Pag nag-antay ka ng 8 minutes,
ilang oras
16 minutes, after 16 minutes, ilan yung nagawa mo lang? Tatlong set lang. 0, 8, 16. Kung nag-rest ka na lang ng 3 minutes,
ganun din naman yun.
Whatever difference in reps between those sets na nangyari sa 8 minutes mo, ma-overcome na nung mas maraming set na nagawa mo. And if we say volume is the primary driver of hypertrophy, I mean, volume is the predictor of hypertrophy in general. Yes, mas maganda, mas marami kang magagawang reps per set in 8 minutes. Pero mas may kang magagawang total reps, given all the sets. Pag nagpahinga ka ng 60 to 90 seconds. So doon yung papasok yung paano yung lumalabas sa studies. Pero ano yung magiging practical
application. Kaya nga, tsaka yun yung pag-customize ng program. So like for example, 8 minutes, sabi natin yun yung best for muscle gain, pero hindi ka naman pwede magtagal sa gym ng 1 oras lang. So, paano mo ma-apply yung 8 minutes na yun kung yun lang yung kaya mo ibigay sa pag-gym? No? Kunyari, part-time bodybuilder tapos may full-time work ka. So, paano mo siya i-apply?
Limited yung time mo. Tapos, ang dami kasing factors that come into ano yung enough recovery between sets mo. Number 1, kung ano yung ginagawa mo na exercise. If you're doing calf raises, mas konti yung recovery mo if you were doing, let's say, squats. Diba? So, the exercise that you're doing, kung compound exercise versus an isolation exercise, that would matter. Yung calorie balance mo. Pag hypercaloric ka, mas madali ka makapag-recover. Any activity that you did before you worked out, nagtrabaho ka ba? Laro kang basketball? Restricted yung ano mo.
Sleep then.
Yes, yung sleep mo. If you had any pre-workout and so on. Ang daming isipin. So, para hindi ka na gagawin nyo lang. Whenever you feel like you're mentally and physically ready for the next set, di sabak ka na kaagad sa next set. Ano lang.
Siguro that explains yung sinasabi na, di ba, walang one size fits all. Tapos talagang tatahiin mo talaga kung ano yung mas efficient sa'yo, mas applicable sa'yo, based sa resources mo, based sa preference mo. Kaya talagang dapat hindi pwede nagbibigay ng generic program talaga sa lahat kasi pwedeng effective nga sa iba, hindi naman effective sa mga ibang tao.
Iba ako, mas maganda sa akin mag-walking lunges. Ay, sa akin, okay na ako sa leg press lang. Hindi, mas ano yung, kunyari, yung trabaho ng tao pala, ano siya? Let's say, trabaho niya, messenger. Tapos,
wala, pagod na yun.
Buong araw, naglalakad-lakad siya between buildings. Nagdi-deliver ng mga sulat niya.
Mahirap yun.
Kapag walking lunges mo siya, yung ginagawa niya buong araw, naglalakad. Get pa ba?
May fatigue.
It's also why, one of the best things that you can do para malaman what works for you is, again, but it's the best available evidence, also to log your workout. Diba? Paano mo malalaman kung effective sa'yo isang approach? Nasa training log mo. I did this exercise. I followed this repetition scheme. I rest 90 seconds between sets. Ito yung ginawa ko, binago ko yung grip width ko. Ito yung lumalabas. Mas mabilis akong mag-progress in terms of reps or load. And then that's what works for you. Problema kasi with a lot of lifters ngayon is, with a lot of gym goers, dati pa is, you don't track your workouts. Diba?
Punta na lang dun.
Ano ba yung basis natin for improving? It's, if you do progressive overload, paano ka makakapag-apply ng progressive overload kung wala kang basis? Diba? Kasi, palagi tatanong, sir, paano ba ako what's the best way to improve? Apply progressive overload. What's the best way to do progressive overload? It doesn't matter eh. You can use the same weight and do more reps. You could use the same reps and load but do one more set. No? You could add another exercise, diba? Or any combination of those. No? So, it doesn't matter. Pero, paano mo malalaman paano ka magpo-progress? You check your training log, diba? Sabi, last time nagawa ko 3 sets, 11, 10, 8. So ngayon, try ko ngayon magiging 11, 10-10.
10-10.
Diba? Nung progressive overload ka na, wala na bago sa load. Wala na bago sa number.
Pero nabago yung rep, diba?
Added value.
Kaya dapat talaga tinatrack kasi hindi okay yung pakiramdam lang sir, diba? Kaya ako minsan sinasabi ko rin sa mga clients ko na kunyari dinitest sila, coach, nag-ano ako medyo extended yung resting time ko this week. For example, like-squat, parang imbes of 2 minutes sa sinusundan niya, coach na pa 3 minutes yata ako. Sinasabi ko talaga na, may considerations tayo not sure kung, nakapag-perform kasi siya na mas ma-intense. Kaso nga lang, ang factor, mas mahaba naman yung pahinga niya. Kaya sabi ko,
pwede.
Huwag ka muna mag-celebrate kasi napahaba pahinga mo I-check natin next week, back to 2 minutes, lift the same load, check mo kung yan talaga yung achievement mo. Yan nga talaga yung baseline.
Yeah.
Kaya dapat talaga nagtatrack kayo ng workouts. Actually, meron ako isang nasundan na post niyo dati, share yung naka-excel pa yung mga workouts yung nakaplanado talaga yung workouts.
If you don't log your workouts, if you don't track it, then that means random yung workouts. So, if you have random program, you get random results.
Yeah.
Diba? Tsaka madali naman mag-track after each set.
Sulat
mo lang, notebook, diba? Or cellphone.
Madaming ways to track So talagang dapat may data kayo to tell kung nagpo-progress kayo or hindi.
Yep. And doon mo rin malalaman yung intervals mo ng deloading. Kasi may mga times na feeling mo parang I don't feel it right now. Pero makita mo sa training log mo, 8.5 weeks na pala akong nagpo-progressive overload. So it makes sense na let's say yung legs ko ngayon parang wala sila sa mood. Sige, baka pala mag-deload na ngayon sa legs. Tapos tuloy-tuloy lang pala yung sa pulling. Although ang sabi nga ni Brad Schoenfeld, there's no difference daw pag nag-deload or hindi nag-deload. Ibig sabihin, hindi mag-deload ka na lang.
Deload ka na. Nakapagpahinga ka pa, di ba?
Nakapagpahinga ka pa. And malaking part doon yung mental recovery.
Yeah. Tsaka yung sir, yung to adapt na rin yan, more of sa strength gains may impediment sure than the muscular size, no?
More of your repetition strength.
Repetition strength kaysa sa muscular size. Mareretain mo yung size mo pero yung strength may konting rustiness ulit pag bumalik ka. Ayun. Tapos si Sir Wisdom, sir, papalo ko na sa'yo. Ipapakita ko sa kanila yung dating peak physique mo. So for sure, may mga tips yung pwede mabigay sa inyo. May 2 major questions now about you personally do when it comes to building muscle. So sir, if you will mention 2 major muscle building practices na makaluma na sa panahon ngayon, ano yung dalawang yun?
Even to this day, laging natatanong sa akin. Paano sir pag hindi sumakit yung katawan ko?
Okay.
Or kailangan ba sumakit yung katawan? So hindi.
Hindi kailangan.
Muscle soreness is normal, but if you don't get muscle soreness, pero kita mo naman sa training log mo na you overloaded or you maintained the same work, the same work that you did from last week, then okay lang yan.
Okay lang.
So hindi kailangan sumakit yung katawan, but there is some minor discomfort most of the time, pero kung wala, okay lang.
Okay lang din.
Yung iba, hindi sumakit yung katawan ko, baka mali yung ginagawa ko. Naman.
May ganyan din yung client sir na parang di ako nag-workout kahapon, coach, talaga bang ganito? Sabi, hindi kailangan masakit katawan mo to tell if you're,
diba? Kasi makita mo sa training lang ano mang pakialam na gusto mo sumakit lang yung katawan mo, diba? Edi magpasuntok ka Manny Pacquiao, diba? Gawin kang punching bag, sumakit yung katawan mo. Effective ba yung naging workout mo?
Pasagasa ka. Tawag doon, sapak-sapak mo yung sarili.
Diba? Huwag ka na
mag-workout. Pasakit mo lang katawan mo.
And then,
yun yung first sir.
kailangan daw mag-supplements.
Okay.
Sir, ano pang magandang supplements? Kailangan ba na mag-whey protein, creatine? So, that will help. Pero supplement nga siya ang importante is you get a good understanding of basic nutrition and magandang training program. Kasi kahit punong-puno yung supplements mo, may budget ka, hindi naman maayos yung overall nutrition mo. Pangit naman yung training program mo. Parang ginaya mo lang from someone else's program na hindi mo alam. Hindi mo naman pala kayang gawin. So, hindi mo kailangan mag-supplements. It's focus more on your understanding basic nutrition basic fundamental principles of exercise, progressive overload, specificity. Yun, mas maganda pa rin kaysa yung
may supplements yun.
Yeah. Pa ba mga common? And then, at siguro yung mas maganda daw pag mag-free weights kaysa machine. Hindi naman eh. Ang maganda actually is a combination of both. Kung hypertrophy, kung sport training kasi, you're looking at movement patterns, types of velocities that you're working with, yung strength demand, yung velocity demand sa movement. And then last siguro, mga biases ng required exercise. Alam, may squat.
May squat daw. Parang yung squat is the king of all exercises.
Wala tayong required exercise. However, what we do recommend is you look into fundamental movements. No? So for example, pinakamadali niyan, you do some form of squatting movement, hip hinging movement, vertical pull, horizontal pull, vertical push, horizontal push, and any combination of isolation. Mga gusto mo. So, yung 6 basic na movement patterns na yan, that pretty much covers all of the muscle groups na pwede mong gawin eh. Whatever exercise you use, for example, horizontal pull mo, cable rows, barbell row, dumbbell row, it doesn't matter. Hindi naman kinikilala ng katawan mo yung 10 pounds galing ba sa cable or galing ba sa dumbbell eh. It's going to be just 10 pounds worth of resistance. So wala tayong required exercise. Hindi kailangan mag-squat. Hindi kailangan mag-bench press. Hindi kailangan mag-deadlift. So, kung basic health and fitness lang.
Pero pag bodybuilding iba.
Yung mga example, si Dexter Jackson, one of the most decorated bodybuilders of all time. Diba? Marami siyang machine work. He rarely goes to yung reps to failure. He has one of the longest, healthiest careers in bodybuilding. So yan. This is yung fitness, especially yung resistance training. It's a long game eh. Hindi yan sa magpipick ako to see kung kaya ko ba mag-deadlift na ganito. Hindi. It should be a lifelong engagement mo as part of your lifestyle. Habang tumatanda ka, lumalakas ka pa rin.
Totoo. Kasi yun nga sir, yung babalikan ko yung sa free weights and machines. Actually, ginawa ko na rin na content yan. Saka papalalamin ko siya. May kakakita ko lang din kasi ng isang post na mas okay naman yung machine, ganyan. Pero mas better yung dumbbell kasi fixed daw yung movement pattern sa machines. Tapos sa free weights daw, less assistance. Pero sabi nga ni isang trainer, nakalimutan ko ano pa ang trainer, pero to quote him, sabi niya, muscle is parang isa dumb piece of meat. Parang walang kinikilala yan.
Ang maganda na sa free weights is, of course, free weights, usually, mas mahirap siyang matutunan. Especially pag tinuro yung barbell row, mahirap.
Mahirap. Deadlift, mahirap na kahit ganun kasi.
Ang maganda na sa free weights is, it's much cheaper. No? Ang machines, may ibang machine talaga kasi especially pag cam, may machine ka na cam, may machine ka na pulley. So, pag ibang machines na hindi talaga maganda sa'yo yung feel.
Wala.
So, yun yung problema sa machines. But machines are much safer. Wala ka namang makitang machine na chest press, tapos naipit. na nagka-problema. But bench press, naipit, hindi na angat yung weight, may ipit sa bar. So, it has its advantages and disadvantages.
Specificity lang talaga, sir. Yung sa sinite ko ang papel doon, sir, is yung kapag kunyaring ikaw, nag-free weights guy ka, like bulk of your workouts sa free weights, tapos nakipag-compete ka sa taong puro machines yung ginamit niya, talo ka sa palakasan ng strength. Yun yung sinasabi nung paper.
Hindi, depende. Kung sabi mo, which will develop strength better, depende. Kunyari, nasasanay ka mag-machine sa chest-supported row. Tapos ang palakasan nyo ay sino mas malakas mag-chest supported row.
Yun laging gumagawa.
Laging gumagawa. So, saan ka mas lalakas? Depende. What movement are you or exercise are you testing na strength? Kalala. And ang maganda na is actually combination. So, for example, magandang exercise sa back, yung barbell bent row. But one of the main limitations na yung for posture mo would be your lower back. So let's say sabihin natin naka 3 sets ka na ng barbell bent row. Feeling mo kaya pa ng lats mo. Pero yung lower back mo, No? Nahihirapan na siya. Especially kunyari, Romanian deadlift ka before your barbell bench.
Stiff na.
Diba? So, pwede ka free weights, tapos yung last 2 sets mo ng pulling, machine ka nga, let's say cable or chest-supported row para mapiga yung remaining na gusto mo pang ilabas na strength ng back mo. Pero yung lower back mo, hindi na siya nagiging limitation. So, it's a good combination dapat.
Tsaka naging personal kasi sa akin yun, sir, nung time na yun. Yung injured ako. Nung injured kasi ako ng ACL ako, sir. Nagpupunta pa rin ako ng gym. Pero hindi ko kayang gawin, mag-mobilize ng plates for free weights. So parang ang bulk ng workout ko nun, machine-based muna ako lahat. Pihit-pihit lang. Kaya sabi ko ganun, so ibig sabihin, less advantageous na yung mga taong kaya lang mag-settle sa machines. Tapos yung mga taong puro free weights yung gym, sila na yung maghahari dyan sa bodybuilding. Kaya sabi ko, hindi. Depende talaga sa'yo, no? Ayun. Tapos, sir, ito, mas technical siya, pero alam ko may capability at talaga, sir, pasimplin yung mga principles dito sa fitness, eh. So, I'll be starting in some questions na very particular talaga sa muscle building, muscle tension, mechanical tension. So, yung first question ko, sir, is yung eccentric versus concentric contraction, which is more important. Kasi, nowadays, yung mga tao parang mas nagmamatter sa kanila yung squeeze state ng muscles kaysa doon sa yung stretch state. So, which is more important, sir, ngayon?
So, kung eccentric versus concentric, so basically it doesn't matter. Kasi, let's say sabihin natin, which is more important to help you for your daily life, para ka magiging mas healthy. Sa daily life, di ba, we do a combination of eccentric and concentric movements.
Pati nga isometrics yun, di ba?
So, important pareho. For, sabi na, sir, gusto for hypertrophy. For strength.
Hypertrophy.
Paano ka mag-exercise na all eccentric or all concentric? Diba? Pwede naman, right? Curls ka. Tapos, bagsak mo yung plate, yung bar, tapos concentric mo ulit. But it's not going to be a good experience, diba? For the people around. So, both are important in terms of day-to-day living and in terms of practical applications. Kasi kung ikaw concentric mo yan to do the next rep, i-eccentric mo rin naman eh.
Ba't di mo pa gawin?
It's not really a question worth thinking about. You will need to do both eventually, one way or another.
Tsaka yun nga, sir, parang nag-workout ka na, tas talaga kasama naman sa movement, gawin mo na rin, di ba? I-maximize mo na rin.
From studies na example, if you do just eccentric concentric, or if you do just, let's say, all concentric, if you equate for the reps to failure, pareho. But if you do just eccentric or just, let's say, just concentric, mas maraming reps yung gagawin mo just to get to failure. So yung time constraint, it just equals out. So you just do both. Kasi wala namang real world scenario na isa lang yung importante.
Isa lang. So, that's the first answer. Eccentric versus concentric, it doesn't matter. Pwede siyang gawin. Ito naman, sir, isa sa mga naging controversial content ko rin before. Yung training to failure, lagi ba dapat gawin?
There's a value in training to failure. Especially if you want to see your personal limits. Diba? Kasi, yes, we can do estimated 1 rep max. Pero iba yung totoong 1 RM mo eh. But in terms of, having yung sustainable na approach sa training mo, hindi eh. So, let's say, sabihin natin hypertrophy. Ang hypertrophy, you get, if you equate for the, let's say, total number of sets, you get the same hypertrophic effect of 0 to 3, even 4 reps in reserve. Ibig sabihin, 4 reps from failure and doing reps to failure,
meron pa rin.
It's going to give you practically the same effect if you equate for the total work output. In other words, hindi mo kailangan mag-train to failure. And no one can sustain train to failure every time.
Yung araw. Tsaka kung mag-isa ka pa. Tapos kung mag-isa ka pa, di ba, sir? No?
Sabihin mo, kanyari ako, I started working out informally in high school. 23 years ago, di ba? Sabihin mo, reps to failure for 23 years. Imposible yun eh. If someone told you, what? Reps to failure ako palagi every session. They're lying. Kasi eventually, your fatigue will catch up.
Unless,
reps to failure ka, pero mag-workout ka once a month.
Once a month. Pwede.
Pero kung nasa workout,
rest intervals mo every month.
3 times per week ka nag-workout regularly, hindi mo masusustain. And studies show, kung gusto mo lang naman magpaganda ng katawan, even as low as 4 reps in reserve, pwede mo. And if you wanted, sabihin na natin, training volume is a better predictor of hypertrophy as opposed to intensity. So, mas marami kang magagawang sets if you take your reps,
may allowance.
A few reps from failure. Mas madali siya, at least mentally. Diba? As opposed to reps of failure. Isipin mo, mag-reps to failure ka ng squats. Diba? For after 3 sets, parang hingal-hingal
ka na.
Well, if you do it, kahit sabihin natin up to 3 reps in reserve.
Pero lang set yan.
Kaya mo pa mentally. Ang pag-uusapan natin is sustainability. Anong mas sustainable? Reps in reserve. So, ang pwede mong gawin is you can also progressively adjust your reps in reserve. Now, let's say, for the first 2 weeks of your mesocycle, 3 to 4 reps in reserve ka. The next 2 weeks, 1 reps in reserve. Tapos yung 1 to 2 reps yung sa next. Tapos sa final week mo na feeling mo, bibigay mo na lahat. Doon ka mag-reps to failure. Tapos bigyan mo na sarili mo ng chance na okay, next week magde-deload naman. Tapos after that, pahinga ka, deload. Balik ka, let's say 3 to 4 reps. Mas sustainable. That to failure. That will work pag baguhan ka pala. Reps to failure. Kaya pagbago ka pa. Reps to failure.
Tsaka taas ng effect.
Kasi mabilis yung...
Mabilis ng development.
Law of diminishing returns.
Beginner's gains, no? Also, that explains sir yung... Kasi sa TikTok, lagi na binabanggit, Mike Mentzer's method yan. So, yun lang naman, by principle is reps to failure lagi, pero low volume. Pero kung gusto nyo taasan yung volume, mag-reserve kayo ng onte. Tsaka ako sir, in-interpret ko siya as, kunyari for example, introvert ka. Tapos reps to failure ka na ayaw mo may nag-ispasin, nahiya ka. Lalo pag free weights pa yung gagamitin mo na baka medyo risky siya. Ako, never ako nag-zero RR pag yung mga squats,
mahirap.
Bench,
nakakatakot. Maipit ka, especially sa bench press.
Kung may kasama, kaya.
Hindi na reps in reserve yan. Life in reserve na yan.
Rest in peace.
So, ang kaya importante din yung, mahirap sa bench. But let's say, if you squat too close to your max, kailangan may crossbar ka, nasa cage ka. So, bench mahirap. Or just don't go to max. Then just do more sets.
Diba?
Sustainability. Time, makita mo yung human limits mo. Hindi naman. Siyempre yung ego natin. Although ako, hindi na ako nagaganyan.
Ako sir,
ever since rin ako as strong as I used to be.
Ako din na nagaganyan siya. Una-una, nakahiya mag-spaspat sa mga trainer. Pag kung may mga clients, 1 to 2 RR na lang. At least, mas kaya ko. Delikado. Sige sir. Last 2 questions, sir. Can women build the same amount of muscles as men?
Very interesting yan. So, may mga studies na if they look at the rate of gain, can be similar sa men and women. But, bakit ang mas muscular yung mga lalaki talaga? Well, naturally, on an absolute level, mas malaki yung lean mass ng lalaki to start with.
Okay.
So, sabihin natin, if you have a male and a female, pareho silang 65 kilograms. Pareho sila ng height. Naturally, yung male will have more lean mass to start with naturally. So, as they gain muscle, kahit sabihin na natin na similar yung rate of gain minsan, the fact na mas marami yung starting muscle ng lalaki, mas malaki yung gains.
Tsaka mas visible. No?
And then, pasok din yung testosterone levels. But it's really mostly a factor of, for one, men have a physiological advantage. To start with, to some extent nga, yung mga lalaki na hindi nag-workout, mas malakas pa rin sa mga babae na nag-workout. Because, mas marami yung kanyang relative mass, lean mass to start with. Kaya nga diba, yung let's say sa professional bodybuilding, yung mga babae na nag-steroids, simply look like natural bodybuilders.
Bodybuilders na. So same, not by absolute numbers, but same rate, no, sir? Ito, sir, final question. If gagawa ka ng isang program for people na hindi kaya pumunta dun sa yung extreme spectrum of like building a good body. Parang how much strength training is enough in terms of number of ilang beses sa isang linggo, ilang exercise, and ilang set. So, ano ma-advise mo sa like for example, like gusto nila maging fit, hindi lang katulad ng mga same level ng mga gym enthusiasts na gym is life. Ano yung enough?
For everyone, no? For one, wala pa akong nakikitang tao na nag-weights tapos hindi nag-improve.
Okay.
So, kahit sabihin mong basura yung genetics mo, if you start working out, you will start feeling and looking better. Wala pa akong nakilala na nagsimula tapos pumangit yung katawan. Di ba? Or humina. Hindi.
Wala. Papalakas lahat.
Wala ka namang magagawa na sa genetics mo. No? And wala ka namang magagawa kung nag-start ka at 20, at 30, at 40. But wala pa akong kilala na may iba nag-start at 50 years old na when they started, hindi sila lumakas or hindi nag-improve yung katawan nila. So, ang importante dun is to start. The best time to start is whenever you're ready. It could be today, it could be later, it could be tomorrow. Next is kung sa weight training, just kahit mag-focus ka lang sa exercises that you enjoy. Diba sabi natin, meron tayong mga movement patterns. Okay, pwede. But sabihin natin, go to the gym and then kung wala ka namang nakuha na trainer, sige, just try out the equipment. Kung ano yung sa tingin mo na parang nagugustuhan mo na movement, gawin mo.
Yung mga
maganda pa rin, mag-consult ka sa fitness professional. Because the fitness professional saves you time and energy. Kasi nagsimula ka na rin naman eh. So you can try to figure it out on your own. Or
matagal nga lang.
Spend that money to buy you time na i-guide ka niya. So let's say meron tayong movement patterns. Tapos gusto ko yung dumbbell row compared to the cable seated cable row. Or mas gusto ko yung hammer press kaysa bench press. You do that. So do exercises that you enjoy. Follow important training frequency that you can sustain. Sabihin natin, may trabaho ka and you're busy. Talagang mako-commit mo lang ay twice per week. Okay na yun. Maganda na yung twice per week.
Kung kaya mo gawin ng weeks.
Kung kaya mo siyang sustain. Kasi kunyari, nagpagawa ka ng program 5 times per week. Pero twice per week ka lang makapunta. Di drawing lang. Diba? So be realistic about the frequency na magagawa mo. No? Do exercises that you enjoy. Find a way talaga na matrack mo yung performance mo. Now, if you're just starting out, madali lang yun eh. Exercise na ginawa mo. First set, anong load na nilagay mo? Ilang reps na gawa mo? Second. So, because when you start tracking, pagbalik mo naman next time, ito yung last time ko. Sige, try ko nga itong taasan. Or try kong dagdagan yung set. Okay? And yun. Tapos tuloy-tuloy ka lang. If you feel like, itong exercise parang baka pwede kong gawin ito. So you look at the movement patterns. Ito baka pwede kong match dito. Match mo na lang. Tapos do that. And advantage pa kung meron kayong malapit sa iyo yung gym. Kasi sa akin, may office ako dito sa baba. Pagtawid ko, may
gym.
May klase ako sa kabila. Katapat ko, gym din. Hindi ko siya maiwasan. Sa bahay namin, pag bumaba lang, may gym. So, hindi ko siya maiwasan. So find the exercise opportunities that are easy to get. Kung CrossFit gym ba yan, kung Pilates ba yan na gym, na studio, or typical na resistance training gym. Pag mas malapit kasi, mas madaling mas sustainable. Isipin mo, kailangan mo pa magbiyahe for 1 hour to get to your 30 minutes na workout. Actually, mahirap yun eh. Pero kung
Pili ko sayang na.
So, just start. Get the help of a professional to help you with your training program. Pili ka ng exercise na mas na-enjoy mo. Wala namang required na exercise. Okay? Log your workouts. Monitor. And then progress. Whatever way na you would like to progress. More reps, more sets, add an exercise. Any combination. Workout, let's say kung 3 times per week ka, dadagdagan mo ng isa pa. Whatever you do, as long as you're doing some form of progression, okay ka na.
Basta train hard enough lang every
session. Train hard enough anywhere from 0 up anywhere from 1 to 4 reps in reserve. Sustainable lang. Hanggang sa ano. Because the less intimidating and the less mentally fatiguing your program is, the more sustainable it is. Diba? So,
madaling i-autopilot pag kunyaring napakasimple lang no?
Kasi yung kitin mo, bukas ganito ako. Parang mawalan ka ng
lula ka.
So, mahirapan. So, something that is really sustainable. Titignan mo talaga siya as a part of your lifestyle. Kasi marami din naman, kasi in my case, marami naman students that come and go na ang lakas ng start nila, they get too excited. Tapos, eventually, they just stop the lifestyle. Kasi siguro hindi nila masustain yung ganung level of intensity. So, sustainability lang talaga.
Kala kasi na parang the more although may to some extent may more is may better, pero it's about being consistent talaga sir, Tsaka sir, yung yan nakuha ko sa mga quote niyo na what builds consistency is yung pagiging sustainable ng program. So if you want to be consistent, maganda talaga simple lang muna sundan yun, then do it 100 times. Tapos from there, mararamdaman nila sir, na parang nabibitin na ako sa ganito, baka kaya ng 3 times a week. Or parang di na ako pinagpapawisan, di na sumasakit katawan ko, hihirapan ko ng mga workouts ko. So, yan. To quote Sir Wisdom, like, be sustainable with your workout program first, then that will help you be consistent na mag-lead sa inyo sa mga results. Dahil gusto ko yung sinabi Sir Wisdom, walang pumangit, walang hindi nag-improve ng katawan na nag-weight training. Kumbaga walang negative effect.
Guaranteed yan.
Guaranteed na
mag-i-improve yung health mo, mag-i-improve yung physique mo. Assuming wala kang, hindi ka bigla suddenly nagka-cancer. If you're a normal, healthy individual, itataya ko yung fully tenured position dito sa Colerio. If you're a normal, healthy individual, tapos nag-start ka mag-exercise, tapos pumangit yung health mo.
Ako rin.
Pumangit yung katawan mo.
Hindi mo siya.
Kahit gaano kaganda ka, pangit yung genes mo. And when you started, guaranteed mag-improve yan.
Mag-improve talaga siya.
Maganda yun. Kasi hindi naman to karera Hindi naman ito nagpapaganda ng katawan lahat But you are trying to make a better version of yourself. Yun na naman yung importante.
Yun nga, long game. Tapos kung lifestyle lang naman, like you have all the lifetime to improve your body. Unless competitive bodybuilder ka, talagang periodize yan. Pero if you're just someone who's just trying to be fit and healthy, be attractive, like you have the whole lifetime para mag-experiment and to come up with the most effective workout approach, dieting approach sa inyo.
So, tigil nyo na yung mga sports na. Basketball, di ba? ACL tear ka.
Wala na. Ayok. Parang ayok.
Tatapilok ka. Wala ka naman na, basta maayos yung pag-workout mo, di ba? Wala kang ginagawang kalokohan. Hindi ka naman mababagok. Hindi ka naman masispray. Tigil nyo na yung mga sports na yan.
Masasaktan lang kayo dyan. Kahit gaano kayo kaingat, di ba?
Kasi di mo masasabi talaga.
Pero ako sir, yun nga, ako, nagbawas talaga sa basketball. Pero I'm trying to do sport na non-contact tennis. Pero still, pa rin siya, uncontrollable pa rin siya. Lalo pag spike yung fatigue, di mo na alam kung anong ginagawa mo. Hindi ka na responsive dun sa paano yung galaw mo.
Pero syempre, mas enjoy kasi yung sport. So, mas enjoy ang sport.
Tsaka may...
to some extent, weight training is not for everyone. May bata na, alam ko maganda pero boring. Kaya pupunta sila sa mga basketball, wall climbing, jogging. So, okay na naman. But if there's one form of exercise or lifestyle that is going to benefit you the most, as you want to live longer and healthier, yung natural bodybuilding lifestyle is the healthiest lifestyle that you can follow in terms of your physical fitness. Natural bodybuilding, so may low intensity to moderate intensity cardio, progressive resistance training. That's really the healthiest thing that you can. Very safe pa.
Simple strength plus any cardio exercises, yun yung pinaka safest, basta tama yung dosage, hindi yung pang-Spartan ba? Na parang, kasi daming nag-aanong workouts ngayon na parang pang ninja na yung mga workouts. Diba? So,
hindi na masusustain yun.
Hindi masusustain yun. Like, nagpo-push up sa 2 level na magkapatong na dumbbell. Like, it's a resistance training pero mataas yung wrist.
Yeah.
So, magkamali ka ng isa, ano na lahat, ando na lahat ng progress mo. Kaya,
lahat yung progress mo.
na-injured ka, diba?
Na-ACL ka.
ACL ako, nag-hyper, atrophy yung
legs mo. Progressive overload. Mabilis lang malalakas.
Pag-experience
May ano din yan
Nabalik ko na sir, actually, more of like yung motor skills na lang kailangan ko ibalik kasi apprehensive pa ako. So, sir, where they can follow you or your works? Baka may magusto like i-promote or just to share. Like,
so, nandun ako sa Facebook.
Facebook.
Valuesers, Health, Fitness, and Sports Science. Meron din ako personal na Facebook. Pero, sabi ko nga, in the words of Brad Schoenfeld, just Google me.
Kasi maliban din sa Facebook, makikita niyo sa Sir Wisdom sa ResearchGate, nandun din yung mga compilations ng mga research niya. If you're trying to be a geek in fitness or sports science, pwede niyo follow si Sir Wisdom sa ResearchGate. But Sir Wisdom also create like mga text posts about fitness na very sensible. Ako kasi kadalasang video, si Sir Wisdom into writing siya. So, you can follow him. So, ako naman sir, may papromote na din bago tayo matapos. Sa caption, may link ako na meron kayo pwede ma-access na ebook that will provide you a 6-week plan. Very basic workout plan plus yung nutrition guide. But again, if kailangan nyo talaga ng customized nutrition plan, kumusap kayo ng R&D. Tapos, meron din ng fitness course na nirecord ko lang yung mga lectures sa mga previous classes ko. Nasa caption din. And don't forget to subscribe. Follow nyo kami ni Sir Wisdom. And tag sa mga stories nyo with your takeaways if you're still with us hanggang ngayon. And help us grow by being heard by sharing my podcast kasi marami pa akong mag-invite ng mga expert dito. So yun, Sir Wisdom, thank you. Sana hindi pa dito yung last kasi baka may mga umusbong na naman na ikaw yung the right guy to ask about it. So sana pwede mo pa rin akong pagbigyan. Magdadala na ako ng liempo dito, papakin natin.
Shout out kay Coach Jan, one of our most sensible links between yung academe and yung practice. Kasi usually, hirap din sa academe is research, hindi naman nakakaskade ng maayos. So, we need people like you na, okay, paano ko ba ito magagamit? I don't care about Cohen's D. I don't care about Tukey's post-hoc na ano ibig sabihin yan. Okay, anong gagawin ko ngayon?
Kailangan talaga.
That's good.
Kaya yun actually yung sa podcast, yun yung sa mga missions ko, like yung mga nasa academe who have been studying one particular aspect like sa fitness is marinig nyo. Kasi wala naman talaga silang time to like create content dahil focus sila sa classroom. So ako na pupunta sa kanila and ako na bahala magtanong and just listen to them and take everything na tingin nyo mag-benefit kayo. But of course, disclaimer lang din, consider the risk. Kailangan nyo pa rin maghanap ng mga professionals para mabawasan yung risk na ma-aksidente kayo. Okay, so educational purposes lang. So, yun lang guys. Thank you ulit Sir Wisdom and kita-kits ulit sa next episode.